Hi everyone. I hope you guys are having a good day. I woke up really early this morning, and it was about 68 degrees this morning when I went to the mountains and escaped to the mountains this morning. And I wanted to make a video this morning that will give you some information and some tips about cooking in your van. There are so many beautiful converted RVs and vans that are into this little apartment with a fancy kitchen and beautiful cooking areas. And they're all, pretty small. Most, people that are doing van life, the cooking area has got to be small and efficient. So anyway, I wanted to give you some tips for cooking in your van. And so the first thing I would like to show you, my camera is not that great, okay? I don't know how to crop and delete. You guys know that. But I wanted just to show you my butane stove that comes in a case. So this is it right here. And hopefully I can do this without dropping the butane. But when you open it up, you put the can of butane in here. You light it just like you would a gas stove. There's a switch and then you just light it. So anyway, I've been using that for about 2 years and it really works like a gas stove. I'm not sure, this, my camera doesn't really have really good wide imaging for the entire front of my van at this time, but I have a little table and it opens up with a top to it. And that's where I usually put my stove when I'm cooking. And then the table and my dresser, which is also where I put my linens and dishes and other things in here. This is where it's sort of my kitchen counter. And I use both of them when I'm cooking. I really try, most of the time I really try to use regular utensils and things that I can wash. And in my drawer here with my dishes and utensils, I really try to use those as much as I can without having to use plasticware and paper plates and stuff, because I really like to help Mother Nature and help reduce all the amount of trash and everything that we use every day. And I think it's important whether you're in a home, in an apartment, or you're doing the van life, to try to limit the amount of paper plates and plasticware. But if I'm cooking something very messy, like I did this morning, which I made blueberry pancakes, which is one of my favorite things, and I use this protein pancake mix, and it's really good, but it's more blueberries than it is pancakes, because I really like a lot of blueberries in mine. But anyway, when I use something that's really messy, then I do like batter or something. I like to use stuff that I can just throw away. Obviously, if I make popcorn or coffee with my, I have a percolator coffee in my bucket of kitchen items under my bed, and those things there, those things obviously I wash. And you do not need dish soap. You do not need soap or dish soap in your camper van when you're doing the dishes and cooking. I always use vinegar and water. Sometimes I use a bacterial wipe or wet wipe just to get like the big stuff off, and then go back. You can go back with vinegar and water and put it in a spray bottle. And you could even use that at home too. I think we're also used to using dish soap our whole lives, and you know, nobody ever thinks to just take vinegar and water and mix it together. And I've never gotten sick. I've never had food poisoning, and I've been using a combination of both vinegar and water to clean my dishes, and also, you know, like bacterial wipes. I kind of do a little bit of both. Whatever I have that day or convenient. Sometimes I have stuff tucked away, and sometimes it's just a matter of convenience having just a paper towel with water or something on it. When I am in the mountains, I try to save my gallons of water. I've always done this really for 2 years. I try to save my gallons of water with the handle, because those really are the best ones, I feel like, to refill. And so if I am, you know, by a river, or if I'm at a lake or something like that, I always try to take my gallons of water and fill them, you know, right by the river, like I did this morning. I just fill it up, and I can use that for cooking. I mean, you can't get better spring water than coming right from the mountains. And I have actually drank the water straight from the stream, because I am a nature lover, and I don't even care. Never gotten sick, never had stomach aches, and, you know, talk about, you know, straight from nature too. So you figure the animals drink from the streams and the rivers, and, you know, and they're fine. So anyway, I try to fill it up, and it's not about the money. It's not about saving money, because really, I mean, you buy a gallon of water, it's, you know, under $2 for a gallon of water. So, but it's more the fact that it's better for me, and I like having that water. I could use it for cooking or cleaning. I could use it for making coffee. You know, as far as drinking that water on a daily basis, I don't necessarily use it for just drinking. That's usually water that I would use mostly for like making coffee if I'm someplace remote, because usually I go someplace to get coffee in the morning, when I am, whether I'm working or not working, because it's getting warm out here, and you know, this is the summertime, and I don't want to be making, you know, starting my stove. I don't use my stove a lot in the summer unless I am someplace really remote where I can't get to a gas station, or a coffee shop. One of the things I want to bring up to you guys, I know in Massachusetts, when I was still living up there and I bought my van, I used to go to Cumberland Farms. I think they have the cheapest coffee, and it's really good. Down here, I think it's, you know, around $2. I don't know how much it costs now, but down here, we have so many gas stations with really good coffee. It's really affordable. It's not really very popular in New England to go to a coffee, to go get your gas and get a cup of coffee. It's not as popular up north. But down here, you know, we have Circle K, Love's Gas Station, Casey's, Weigel's, sometimes McDonald's, Flying J. And there's so many different truck stops that have really good coffee, and are also a really good place to stay overnight too. They're usually very safe. I know a lot of people say that they're, you know, don't ever stay at a truck stop. Well, I have stayed at them. If not, they are probably one of the safest places you could park, really. So, and I'm not talking about the truck rest areas off of the main highways. I'm talking about like just the truck stops. You can go and get gas and food if you need it. So it's really good. And most of these coffee places are, it's around $2 or less than that for a cup of coffee, and most of their breakfasts are pretty cheap. So I mean, I could get breakfast and a coffee for under $5 down here, which is awesome. And then for supermarkets to save money. Okay, so of course, you know, I have to just share with you my favorite supermarkets. Of course, I go to Walmart. Walmart probably more than any other place to do my shopping. But I also go to Aldi's a lot, and you know, Walmart, I feel like, you know, there's always other things that I need to get, and I'll save money. So if I pick up some food and then, you know, maybe get vitamins or whatever else I need for my van. But, you know, I go to Aldi's a lot. I love Ingles. They're a really good supermarket. And of course, when I was working up in Sevierville, I went to Kroger all the time, Kroger and Publix, and there's so many good supermarkets, and you just kind of have to shop around to get the things that you need for your van life, so that you are saving money, because you have to be really good with money management. And maybe I could talk about that in the future, just do an entire episode on money management. I know my van is over $1,000 a month for my payment, but it's worth it because it is my car payment and my van payment every month. But I still have to budget your money, and all those little ways that, you know, little things that we can do to save money is, you know, it's always helpful. As far as cooking goes, I think I talked about this before with you guys, that I keep fresh fruit and vegetables and a lot of nuts and peanut butter and cheese, eggs. I love French toast. It's one of my favorites, but again, you know, we're approaching the warmer weather, so the only time I'd ever make French toast is if I'm staying overnight in a mountain and it's very cool up there in the morning. So it's one of my favorites. But you know, in the winter months it's a little bit different. Both of my boys gave me some great gifts for cooking and cutlery set, and you know, we're you know, so I can actually use electricity if I'm at a park or something, and I can cook soup. And I can show you guys that another time. I wanted just to show you a couple things. I have a couple of items that I bought when I was doing van life, when I was still in my apartment up north, and I bought a couple things on Amazon that has lasted me 2 years, and they are wonderful. And I think, you know, anybody that's doing van life, and even if you're not doing van life, it's a really good thing to have in case of an emergency. If you guys lost power, no matter where you are in the country, you lose power, anything could happen. You could lose, you know, electricity and power, heat, everything, you know. You could lose your home for that matter. You never know what's going to happen. But I wanted to share. So this, I could not find the name brand on it, but if you guys can see this, it has 4 spots, USB ports on there, and I love this. This has lasted me 2 years, and I can actually charge both of my cell phones on this, and I could probably still have a little bit of power left. So there's a lot to it. I think this one was maybe around $50, but anyway, I love it. I got it on Amazon. I don't know the name, but maybe the next time I make a video, I will share the name with you. I have no idea. And this one is my power block. So this is my power block. I just wanted to show you guys. So it has the USB ports, and so I can also plug in electrical items. Now, there's not a lot of voltage to this, so I can plug in, I have my little stained glass lamp that I have from Turkey, and there is, you know, a sentimental value. I didn't want to get rid of it, but my Turkish lamp, but, you know, it is a plug-in, and I can plug it in to my power block when it is fully charged. So that's the thing, like, if there's only like 3 bars on it, it really won't light up my lamp. But when it's fully when my power block is fully charged, and you can, I can't, well, actually, yes, I can. I'm sorry. I meant to tell you one more thing. All right. So, there is a charger for your cigarette lighter. So the cigarette lighter in your vehicle, you can actually charge this on there. Sorry, totally forgot. So once it's fully charged, it will keep some of your lights. Most of the lights that I have in my van, the puck lights, I have star lights that are on the ceiling that I just taped up here. I mean, I just got those at Dollar Tree, you know, but I love them at night, especially in the summer or in the winter too, to just, you know, it just kind of makes it feel kind of like homey and cozy and little kind of like my romantic time with God, right? So anyway, I got my stars, and but everything is battery operated, which is great because I'm not relying on solar, or it's not draining your battery. So, which brings me to my next subject I'd like to discuss with you. So since the very beginning, I really wanted to go with an inverter converter for my van. I actually bought one and didn't know that I would need an extra battery for your inverter converter, because it is going to drain your battery, so and your battery in your vehicle. So you just need to make sure, if you do decide to go with, you know, the van life, or you're already doing it, just make sure that you do have an extra battery, that you're using that for your inverter converter. You know, there are things that I have learned that I can give you some tips, you know, when you're cooking, and I'm just giving this as an example. If you have an inverter converter and you're cooking, 1 cup of coffee in a Keurig will drain your entire life of your battery. It doesn't mean it's going to be dead after that. It just means it drains it. The same with a heater. Like I have an electric heater that is very small. It's also an air conditioner too, and so I haven't bought my inverter converter yet, and an extra battery. I haven't done that yet because, you know, it's more about affordability, and right now I needed to put some money into my van. Over the past 6 months, things that were more of a priority, you know, tires and newer tires and things like that. So, but what was I? Yeah, so you want to try to stick, so when you're cooking, you really want to try to stick with something that's not going to go through your inverter converter, just to save your power for things that are more important. The butane stove, it's like $30. The cans of butane are very inexpensive. It's actually a lot cheaper than propane too. And I do have my propane heater. So I've got butane for cooking, and then I have my propane for heat. In the fall, so this winter coming up, I might actually do something a little bit different. I might actually head to a warmer climate for a couple of months. I don't know. I definitely don't want to go 3 winters in a row without having proper heating. I didn't talk about this before, but so the walls of my van are completely insulated. When I bought this, I lined all the walls with insulated curtain panels, and I think I got them at Target, and they're really good quality. And then I on top of that went with a really thick fleece on the walls too. And I originally wanted to go with the wool, the lamb's wool, for insulation. It's supposed to be the best one. It's mold proof, soundproof, very expensive. It was my top choice, but I ended up going with this because it was a lot cheaper. And then, you know, I told you guys before that I got the wallpaper from Dollar Tree, and you know, it's all in sections, so like, you know, one little section, you know, $1.25. But again, underneath that there is also insulation, but it's just done differently than this. It's not a curtain panel or anything. The front of my van, between the where I would sit in the front of my van and the sitting area, I have two curtains, and I put a black one on the outside. There's a curtain rod up here. I put a black one on the outside and a white one on the middle in the inside. The white one because it's very pretty, and at night when I close the curtain, it's bright, it's cheerful, and it's pretty. And from the outside, you can't see it, but all you see is black, and it's more of a privacy thing, so you can't see in. And also it's more, I kind of want my van to look more like it's a commercial van, and it is a commercial van. And even though it's been converted to a tiny home, it still doesn't matter. It's mobile, and you know, it's kind of nice that if I was ever in a situation where, let's say I was like near a hotel or something, I was in the middle of nowhere and the only place I could park overnight was a hotel, and I pulled in and maybe got something to eat, because I've always been the type of person to show my respect for every place that has ever let me park overnight. I always go in and buy something, you know. If I'm staying in a truck stop, I'll go in and get coffee and breakfast, and, you know, get gas. I always need gas. When I'm at Walmart, I'll you know, shop at Walmart. And wherever I park overnight, you know, whether it's Cracker Barrel, you know, go in and have breakfast. So, and I do it to show my appreciation, because I was raised that way, to always, you know, show respect for people that do things that don't, you know, it's an act of kindness, really, and you know, pay it forward. And then they also appreciate us too. You know, if you're somebody that's going to party in the parking lot, they're probably not going to be too happy you're there. If you're playing loud music and causing problems and getting into fights, and then, you know, you're not going to be welcome there, you know. I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, you got to keep to yourself. And I love to sing in my van all the time. It is my thing. I love to sing. Before I had my big furniture, I have, you know, the chairs that are in here are much bigger than my other chairs, but these ones are way more comfortable. But I had more space, and I would put the chairs on my bed, and this was like my little dance area. I used to love doing that. Now it's a little bit hard to dance in here, although I have on occasion. Maybe at some point I will show you guys my closet back there, and my little grandma's corner. But I just wanted to share a few more tips with you. I do have a a first aid kit. I have a whole medical bag, actually, because I'm sure most of you know that I did a lot of home health aid work. I've been a hairdresser for 27 years, a long time. I did a lot of home health aid work in Massachusetts, and then I was also a caregiver in Nashville before COVID, and so I have a medical bag, and I'm also a licensed med tech too. And at some point, I am going to talk about vitamins. Something, I started taking vitamins when I was probably approaching the age of 40, and I take vitamins every day. And I just thought I would talk about maybe some vitamins that you guys might need or might want to use, because it's really, I'm all about, I love homeopathic stuff. It's like I'm big into it. I've always loved it. And so I'm all about natural remedies for everything. I don't have health insurance, and so I'm always doing everything and anything I can to boost my immune system and to feel good, especially the days that I'm working. I mean, I have to deal with an essential tremor that I've had for 14 years, which is it's humbling, and I go to work and, I have to deal with that. So I'm always looking towards homeopathic things that can help my tremor in any way, because I can't take medication. I'm like kind of allergic to pretty much everything. So that's about it, I think, for today. I made this whole video. I have to tell you guys, I made this whole video this morning, and I lost it. I deleted it by accident, and I was so mad because I had all of my pancake stuff, and anyway, I lost the video, which, story of my life. But I lost the video, and anyway, I wanted to share that with you this morning. So I meant to do it early this morning so I could share with you the beautiful river and everything next to where I was making my breakfast, but I just went swimming. And my hair is still wet, and I just went swimming in a river, and, this is van life. I've got my bathing suit drying on my dashboard, right? So, all right, I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day. I know here, I don't even know what time it is. It's probably close to 6:30, 7 o'clock where I am. And I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I will make more videos when I have time, okay? And I miss you guys, and I hope you have a good night, rest of your day. And by the way, you hear all these motorcycles that are going by. I don't know if you guys can hear them. It's like a mating call down here. That's all I want to say. We have the Tail of the Dragon is right up the street, and we have, anyway, all the guys go back and forth in their motorcycles, and I always laugh because it's like a mating call every time I hear that, the sound of a motorcycle. But anyway, so in case you're wondering where I was, all right, I hope you guys have a great night. Bye.